A very good afternoon to attendees. We, Team SAC, present to you the event War of Words as part of our Pan India Intercollegiate Fest, Alchemia, powered by study partner SIUK. SIUK provides free independent advice and support to Indian students applying to UK universities. They guide you through each step of the application process to any UK university, college, or language school. Co-powered by a snack partner, Cornado, giving you the goodness of corn and a crackling crunch in every bite you take across various flavors like Thai chili rush, rosemary garlic, tomato blast, and everyone's favorite, cheese burst.
Should we invade the canteen and grab all the samosas?
No, that's unfair.
Why not?
Why not what? Are you crazy or what?
I'm just bored, bro.
So, you want a war in the middle of foyer?
I mean, I don't want it, but I'm really bored.
We shall have your war, but please, for God's sake, let everyone have their samosas and paos.
Chill, bro. You want war? I'll give you a war.
Hey,
War of words.
can you please elaborate?
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Alchemia 2022's very own debate competition, War of Words. Contradictions can be frustrating, even more so when it's from the same person. Mimansa will introduce you to our judges.
It is my great honor to introduce our judge for the event, Mr. Kishore Daswani. He finished his BSc from St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, and went on to pursue his LLB and LLM from the prestigious Government Law College, Bombay University. He is currently Professor of Law at National Law School of India University at Bangalore. He has also been Professor of Public Policy and Human Rights at St. Xavier's College. We welcome you, sir. To our next judge, Soni George, ma'am. She is Head of Department, Placement Conveyor, and Associate Professor of Management Studies at St. Xavier's College. She completed Masters in Management Studies and was subsequently the lecturer at Wilson College. She has worked at various corporates throughout her career. We are privileged to have you both as judges for our War of Words event at Alchemia 2022. Now I call Dishita to give you all the instructions for the.
Thank you, Mimansa. Thank you. I'm happy to be here to judge the event at your department.
We welcome you, ma'am.
For the instructions of this event, each participant will be given 2.5 minutes to speak. At the end of 2 minutes, a message will be put up saying that you have half a minute left. And after 2.5 minutes are over, we will unmute and tell you to stop speaking. I hope that all the instructions are clear and you are ready with your topics. Thank you. Contingent code AV01, your time starts now. You must start speaking.
My topic is space tourism should be banned. And first, I'd like to explain the advantages. So the advantages of space tourism is that it can provide additional resources to us, and we can find extraterrestrial life too if we go for the space tourism. And we can explore, and the dreams of people who wish to visit space can be fulfilled. We have opportunity to study long-term changes in humans as a result of being in space. It can speed up technological progress too. It also provides job opportunities for those who are jobless. And we can also find other planets to colonize. So it also supports the innovation and economic prosperity by stimulating advances in science and technology fields. It can also motivate global scientific and technological workforce. Sorry. It's perfect for studying climate science as it provides us with a lot of information about the Earth, solar system, and role of gases in our atmosphere. That's it.
Thank you, contingent code AV01. Now we'll move on to the next participant, contingent code AV07. You must have
Hello to
time.
yeah, sure. And I have to speak both at the same time, or do I have to like wait for my second against and for topic?
You have to speak for both at the same time.
Yeah, sure. I was just confused because the people before kind of confused me, but that's okay. Sure. Good afternoon to one and all present over here. I am Mitali Joshi, and I have chosen the topic animal experimentation is justifiable with human progress in medicine. First, I would like to speak for the topic. So, throughout the history of research and medicine, animals have contributed a lot to our knowledge about biology and diseases by serving as excellent model organisms. So many of the classic experiments, such as the Avery-McCarty-McLeod experiment for DNA transformation, was done on mice. Pavlov's reinforcement behavior experiment was done on dogs. Patterns of inheritance on fruit flies, and so on. All of these experiments changed the foundation of our thinking and opened up so many avenues for future research. And none of that would have been possible without experimentation on animals. There are several reasons as to why animals are being tested on, and why it is still justifiable today. The most important being genetic similarity. As a student of biology and life science, I have come across lots of research papers and experiments in the past so many decades that show us that, for example, mice share over 70% of their genomes with humans. And because of this, they contract the same diseases as humans, such as Alzheimer's, cancer, pneumonia, etc. And a lot of these diseases aren't properly understood even today. And in animals, they even show same symptoms for those diseases. And it makes studying these genetic disorders much more easier. You can study the effect of drugs, therapies, and other treatments on animals instead of testing them out directly on humans. That is how clinical trials for drugs and vaccines work. Similarly, other organisms like rabbits are used for studying sclerosis, or marine animals for studying the nervous system, microorganisms for antibiotics. Clinical trials have helped all of us develop treatments and therapies which help so many people, animals, and even the environment. Experimentation on animals provides us with invaluable insight about the world of biology and evolution. It helps us understand current challenges that we face and stretch the boundaries of our knowledge. And hence, I feel that even now, it is all right to experiment on animals because they help us stretch our boundaries of knowledge and become better and come up with more treatments and help more people. So that is my opinion for the topic. Now I would like to speak against the topic. Is that okay?
Yes, you can go.
Okay, sure. So against the topic, I feel that animal experimentation is not justified for obvious ethical reasons, because even with progress in medicine, there are okay, so even with progress in medicine, the experiments that we have done till now were done at a time when there were no other methods available to study science. Science had to depend on experimentation on different animals to understand and gain further insights. And for a major part of histories, we didn't have any proper microscopes, no computational data, biosimulations, nothing. Everything had to be studied through tangible proof and observation in animals. Apart from medicine, animals were experimented on for cosmetics, genetics, and biochemical pathways. And millions of animals like rabbits, mice, axolotls, dogs, and smaller animals like flies, frogs, bugs, squids have died because of artificially induced and ailments that were caused because of those inductions. It is especially sad to see this even being quite prevalent even today, even though ethic committees have become a bit more stringent for use of animals unnecessarily in certain experiments. But this is absolutely not foolproof, and it is still prevalent in places which do not have enough funding, which is why I feel like it is time for us to turn to technologies that will replace and make inhuman trials on animals a thing of the past. With the beauty of science and technology, which we have acquired through experimentation on animals, we now have lots of information and insights on newer procedures. We now have cultured cell lines, which are artificially cultured cells on Petri plates on which we can test different cosmetics, drugs. We can test it on any kind of cell that we want, which we can grow in a Petri dish itself. We can test it on skin cell lines for cosmetics or pancreatic cell lines for insulin drugs. We even now have powerful computers to study genes and their expressions directly, computational data that can run biostimulations. So the only shortcoming for these amazing solutions is the cost. And if that factor is taken care of, more and more animal lives can be saved, because it's just not justifiable to make others suffer for our own gain. So thank you.
Thank you, contingent code AB07. Judges, I hope you received the edited score sheet.
I have, I'm making a note of it because I think your email has gone to my spam folder, but I've got the criteria. I've just checked the criteria. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. We'll move to the next participant, contingent code 301.
Yes, I'm here. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Arnav Vashist. So first of all, I would like to thank you all for giving me this beautiful opportunity to express my views on the topic space exploration should be banned. At first, I am going to speak against this topic, that why space tourism, it should not be banned. So first of all, let's understand what actually space tourism is. So basically, space tourism is a very innovative and different idea in the space department of many countries and in the world, which is encouraging the citizens and more space enthusiasts to come and take the benefit of this tourism by going into space and by spending some time there. So basically, by having a space travel with some extra spacecraft and beautiful flights, so that is all about space tourism. So now I am going to tell you that why we should not ban it. At first, it is not going to contribute towards the nation's economy. It will also help the nation to grow in the technological department. As we all know that in today's world, the digital era is consistently coming and emerging as a new field in our youth. And there are many different kinds of fields we can see, and where space is one of the most beautiful department in which our youth can go and grow themselves. So basically, it will definitely going to contribute towards the nation's economy, and as well as it will definitely make the country powerful in terms of technology, in terms of space exploration, and in terms of the researches which are going outside our world in the space. At second, I would say that why it will be beneficial, as it is inspiring more and more people to become aware about astronomy, and it will definitely help to encourage more and more people to become space enthusiasts and come there to contribute in that field of our nation, so that we can grow in space researches and we can explore some impossible researches till date which we don't know about it till now. And there are many reasons why we should not ban it. Like, as we see that there is a very huge budget for country's economy by sending just a single space mission. Like, by sending just a orbit into the space, it is very difficult as it requires a lot of money. So space tourism is one of the very great ways to
Your
include...
time is up. Just
Yes,
conclude.
Okay. So basically it will definitely help in the money terms too. So now I am going to speak for the motion like space tourism should be banned. It is actually true that space tourism should be banned, But why? The question arises, why it should be banned when it has so much benefits, when it has so much advantages for the country? It should be banned because the human has crossed his limits in the earth as well. As we know that the climate change is consistently coming, and there are very harmful changes which are coming in our world, which should not come by our consequences, because we are growing at the cost of our nature. We are damaging it. So we know that we should limit our research to in the space as well. As we are going to make changes in the space researches, we can go somewhere like Moon, Mars, and make changes as we are thinking about to make it. But what the point is that we are hindering the natural things. The space is also not ours. It is made by the God, and it is the natural thing. We should not go and hinder there. And also it should be banned because it requires a lot of money, and a lot of money is wasting in just a single event, like just a tourism. So basically the main advantage of space tourism is all is going to be contributed towards the billionaires and millionaires, which have lot of money. They can go to space travel and they can take the advantage of that kind of tourism, but it will not going to help country poverty line. Like there are many persons which are not well settled and have not that much amount of money, and they are too space enthusiasts, but what they can do, they can't afford to space travel. So it is definitely not going to help everyone. So in short, space travel is not helping the country as well, as we are exploiting the natural resources, natural things around us, and also it is not helping all the persons. It is just a beneficiary point to some of the consistent and comprised number of people. So I don't think that space tourism should be encouraged and moved for a long term purposes. It should be banned so that we can grow at a sustainable development cost, and we can grow by each other together in a good manner, in a good way, so that we can protect our nature too, and we can keep our natural resources safe. So that's all from now on this topic. Thank you all for listening me so patiently.
Thank you, contingent code P01. We now move on to the next participant. I hope the judges have noted this course. Contingent code AV44.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. You may start speaking.
So my topic is human experimental is justifiable with new progress in medicine. So first I will speak in for it is justifiable because animal testing has contributed to life-saving cure and treatment over decades. Especially, in fact, Royal British Society and California Biomedical Research Association has said that majority of the breakthroughs in the last decade has resulted directly from animal testing. Also, the primary reason for using animals for testing is because animals are biologically similar to humans, and therefore they are susceptible to diseases which are found in humans, such as heart attacks, diabetes, cancer, etc. Therefore, animals provide us a system to study how a disease occurs, how it progresses, drug development, and also treatment. Also, the animal testing is not done independently by everyone. It is regulated by rules and regulations in place, such as Federal Animal Welfare Act, which protects animals from misuse. Also, the main reason why are we not shifting from the animal testing is because there is no adequate alternatives available. There is an argument suggesting that we should use the in vitro techniques, such as the use of cells, tissues to test the drugs, but the major failure of this system is it fails to replicate the complexity of human body. Human body is not an isolated system which are in parts, but it has internal connected processes, and therefore the in vitro tissues or cell culture fails to accurately predict the ill effects of the drug on non-targets. Therefore, we are still stuck on animal testing, and it is still preferred. Another reason is animal testing enhances the safety of the product it is being released in the markets, thus ensuring the safety of a larger population. So to conclude, animal testing is beneficial for the larger good of the human society. So now I will speak against the topic. So, however, even if we have so many benefits of the animal testing, still it is cruel and inhuman. Human International Humane Society has reported that animals are held captive in cage in very small spaces. They are exposed to noxious stimulus and are killed. Even those which are previously exposed to stimulus doesn't survive and ends up dying. Also, regarding the Federal Animal Welfare Act I mentioned earlier, it does not apply to rats, mice, fish, birds, which constitute around 95% of the animals being tested, and it protects only 4%, just leaving others vulnerable to the mistreatment. Also, the many products which are tested in the animals are not necessarily safe for the humans, because although there might be some genetic similarity, the um, metabolics and structures of the animal are slightly different from humans. For example, there was a drug Vioxx for arthritis, and it showed to be protective for heart in animals, but it caused more heart attacks in humans. Also, there is a highlight that the drugs which are harmful for animals might be beneficial for humans. For example, insulin showed birth defects in animals, but it has proven its efficiency in humans, and similar is the case with aspirin. And many products which are tested on animals are not released in the market, which causes animals to suffer and sacrifice their life without adding any value to human society. So to conclude, animal testing is cruel, and we need to put significant efforts to move to better alternatives. Thank you.
Thank you, contingent code AV44. Now we move on to participant. Contingent code AJ07. Can you speak now?
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I'll be speaking on the topic animal experimentation is justifiable with humans' progress in medicine. I strongly disagree with this statement because it's not true. Ask the experimenters why it is morally okay to experiment on animals, and the answer is because animals are not like us. I wish that medical researchers who experiment on animals would experiment on humans to try to find a cure for their insensitivity towards animals. To stand with my opposition against this statement, an article published in the esteemed Journal of the Royal Society of Medicine has even evaluated this very claim, stating that every major medical advance is not attributable to experiments on an animal. Most experiments in animals are not even relevant to human health, for example, cosmetic products. Furthermore, humans and animals do not really react in the same way to a drug. Like, for example, a drug will work in an animal but will fail in humans. But looking for a different perspective, when we look from a different perspective, like we firmly believe that experiment conducted on animals is morally wrong. Experiments are done from housefly to a mouse because animals are biological very similar to animals. In fact, humans are very similar to animals, biological, because in fact mice shares 98% same DNA as humans. Animals even have a shorter life cycle than humans, enabling us to study their whole lifespan and know them across several generations. For a matter of fact, research using animals have contributed 70% of Nobel Prizes for physiology and medicine. Drugs of HIV, insulin, or antibiotics, or vaccines, and even organ transplantation have been developed using animals. With the point I have stated, I would like to conclude with a suggestion that if you want to conduct tests, why do we do it on some poor animal who hasn't done anything wrong? They should instead use prisoners who have been convicted of murder or rape. So rather than seeing if the perfume irritates a bunny's eye, they should throw it in Charles Manson's eye and ask him if it hurts. If you do not know Charles Manson, he is a murderer convicted of 4 murders. There is no need to cause pain to animals when we have human tissue and cell cultures that can show what happens in the human body. You can learn and research from them. We have advanced technology and mathematical models instead of harming poor animals. Thank you.
Thank you, contingent code AJ07. We move on to the next participant, contingent code K01.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I would like to speak upon the topic that is animal experimentation is justifiable with human progress in medicine. or not. So first of all, I would like to speak in the favor of the topic, that is animal experimentation is actually justifiable in the human progress in medicine. Why? Because as we know, as we have moved this further, we know that scientific experiments are really important, because it provides us the very security, and it animals, they have very various uses. Basically, scientists, they do experiments on animals, and after that they make some kind of drugs and all of that, due to the similarity of DNA and DNA, and similarity of kind of the biological structure they have with us, that means the humans. So that is why scientists do experiments on animals, and we are able to make medicines, and the present technology we have in this modern era, which we call as the meta also. So we are able to get through this due to the experiments those scientists have done on these animals. Although there are some backsides of the same, that as we have moved this further, so there are some backsides of the same, that is, those animals, how they are treated. And as I'm not basically a science student or something else, but as an citizen, there is like, when we see that the data that is out there, it says that animals, by those scientists, they are treated very cruelly. I'm not blaming the whole science community, well, but the experiments, they are kind of like that. They mistreat animals in way that they are not able to even walk. Even most of those animals are not even no not even able to do anything else. Basically, they are dead, in one sense, basically. So it's the time to think that whether it's right or not. uh, there are both the sides which one can see. On the one side, on one side, basically, a human being can say that, as a human being, we have moved this further, and one can say that the cons, that is that animal experimentation is not justifiable with human progress, because you know we have uh, we have those elements, we have those technology present with us at this right time, and it's the very right time to say that we should treat animals as just like the human beings, because human beings have brains. They can devise something else. Scientists have big brains. Basically, they are doing right now, uh, and it is, in various parts it is being successful, and we can see that also. While on the other side, there is like a news which I've heard recently, that a pig, uh, I guess there was a pig whose heart was transformed, whose heart was being taken and modified into a human being, and that human being was able to do functions, and that was actually a miracle in the science history, which I've recently seen. So it's kind of very interesting to see that these experiments, these uh, scientific experiments are being done on animals, and it is leading to very fruitful results. So yeah, they are both sides of pros and cons of the same, and we need to figure out that what can be done in order to progress further. And one more thing is there that I would like to mention in the cons, that basically human beings are selfish, and that is why we are basically using animals for our greed, and that is the very basic reason that we don't care about those animals and how they act. And as being a progressive lawyer, I would like to say that I'm not in actually in favor of animal experimentation that is justifiable with human progress in medicine. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, contingent code K01. All the participants are done. Wait for 5-10 minutes so that the judges can finalize the top 4 participants for the next final round, and then the instructions for the final round will be given.
Taking a moment to thank our food partner, Woo Momos, where all momos are handmade to perfection with a generous amount of stuffing inside. A plate of hot momos awaiting you.
I never stop to see you cry. I never listen to your tears and praise. Oh no, I never stop to see you try. I never listen to the words you say. Oh.
And our education partner, Silica Institute, your design career guide, offering career guidance, counseling, and mentoring in the field of design, arts, architecture, and fashion. The link is given in the chat.
Me and Professor Kishu have spoken. We have averaged our scores and we'll be sending it to you, yeah? Emailing it.
Results for those who qualified the final round. The 4 contingent codes are AV44, AV07, K01, P01. Instructions for the final round. The first topic will be sent to AV44. We will be personally messaging you the topic, so please keep your chat box open. You will each get 10 minutes to prepare and 5 minutes to speak. After an interval of 5 minutes, we will be messaging the rest of the each person with a topic. That is, after 5 minutes, after AV44 will be given their topic, we will message AV07 their topic so that each participant gets 10 minutes to prepare. As soon as the previous participant stops speaking, the next participant can start. Whether you will be going for or against will be again messaged to you in the chat box. So please keep your chat box open and pay attention. Okay, we will be sending the topic to AV44 personally on the Zoom chat box.
Should I start?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
When you may start speaking, your 5 minutes to speak starts right now. At the end of 4 minutes, we'll give you an indication on chat, and at the end of 5 minutes, we'll be unmuting and asking you to stop.
Okay, so good afternoon. My topic is human genetic engineering should go mainstream, and I will speak for the topic. So genetic engineering is basically either editing an already existing gene or inserting a foreign gene into a human being. So we are already experiencing a lot of diseases. Anytime there are a lot of inherited diseases, we acquire diseases throughout our life. Sometimes because of environmental interaction, environmental interaction with our genetics, we develop certain diseases which completely lowers the quality of our life. So therefore, this concept of human genetic engineering has come up, which will help us to fight and eliminate diseases. And secondly, it will improve the lifespan and quality of our life. So the genetic engineering in humans, it can help fight and eliminate diseases by either modifying the genes, such as in cancer therapeutics, they're modifying the T cells, which helps to fight against the cancerous cells. Also, it can help us to for diagnosis and drug treatment, especially for targeted treatment. When the entire genetic profile of an individual is known, accordingly, the therapeutic targeting can be done. Also, regarding aging, there are certain genes which makes us susceptible to certain diseases as we age. So, targeting and modifying those genes will help us to fight against those diseases and thereby extending our lifespan. Also, it is reported that genetic engineering in humans will help us to fight against monogenic hereditary diseases such as Huntington's diseases and also acquired diseases such as cancer, AIDS, etc. Also, we are often seen inherited diseases in children, and as a result, their entire life is then going for toss. So, for such diseases, genetic engineering can be used so that at an early age they restore their original lifestyle. So, mainstreaming human genetic engineering will help us fight all of these problems, and at the same time, it will improve the quality of life of the people. But certain rules and regulations need to be in place where there are no misuses. But certainly, using human genetic engineering will help us overcome all of these problems. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, contingent code AV44. The judges may now note down the scores. We'll wait for 1 minute and then we'll start with the other participant.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everybody. I am here again to speak against the topic this time. So my topic is unreasonable profiting from pharma industry should be regulated. So I am going to speak in against of that topic, that no, it should not be regulated, because there are many reasons behind my this statement to support, as it is the service and it is the industry which is directly going to link the medical. So basically, if we are going to make some changes or if we are regulating their utility, so we are directly impacting the medical sector of our country. So if we are going to look that how we should regulate or we should not regulate it, whether we should go forward it or not, we should first remember that it will definitely going to have a direct impact on our health department. So basically, what I feel that it should not be regulated, that the unreasonable profiting which is consistently going in our pharma sector should not be regulated, as it is a service which is giving aid to our healthcare department, and it is deemed to support a large number of people in our country. So basically, my first point is that it acts as an emergency, that it will act as an emergency. In emergency situation, it will act as a golden thing for us. Like if we are taking medicine and if we are taking help of it, that either of that, whatever be the department or country that particular pharma industry is having, that be it US, India. So whatever be the pharma industry, here we are talking about the common thing, that is pharma industry. So the main outcome is we are taking help from it in emergency situation and as well as in the normal conditions to prevent all the diseases which are consistently coming in our country. So basically, we should need to prevent these diseases. We should take help from this. So first of all, we should make a firm belief in our pharma industry, and we should make it in that manner that we should not need to regulate it, because it will definitely going to take an impact on country's economical wealth as well. So my second point is that this sector also going to help to develop country in many departments. Like we can see the recent example in this pandemic time of coronavirus, India is consistently improving their medical sector, their pharma sector. So if some unreasonable profiteering is going on there, then we should accept it, as it is going to make us in the benefit at the last. We are getting medicines, we are improving, we are becoming independent. In emergency situations, we are not need to take help from any other country. If we are going to strong our and upgrade our pharma sector by believing in that, and by not regulating their unreasonable profiteering, we can definitely develop and upgrade our pharma sector to become independent. So basically, we are not going to regulate it, as it will definitely caution the belief on our own pharma industry. And secondary thing, there is some unreasonable profiteering going on There is a reason behind it. The one and the very important reason is the margin. The margins the all participants and the all pharmaceutical companies are taking there is good for us and is good for our country as well, as that profit will definitely going to contribute towards our wealth and health, as we can see. Because if our pharmaceutical companies are taking large margins, then we are definitely going to make good money from that pharma industry. And at the end, the output of this and at the end, the output of this kind of exposure or this kind of transaction like unreasonable profiteering which is going on, indirectly or directly, it will going to help us. So we should not regulate it, we should make a belief on it, and we should keep moving with it. As we have given some more and more examples from different countries, that there is a lot of expensiveness in medical sector, but there is a unique example of India which are using less money to make more and more profits. So how they are doing it? They are taking big margins, but they have started from small margins, I agree, but they are now taking big margins to make these things in our own country and to make believe in our pharma industry that they can do it. So if some unreasonable profiteering is currently going on in our industry, we should not make a hindrance in that, and we should not stop it, because it is for our betterment and because it is for the development of our country. So we should support it. So in the end, I would like to say that unreasonable profiteering from pharma industry should not be regulated, because it is the part of our industry and it is the, I can say, the major vehicle of our industry on which we are going on, especially in this pandemic kind of time. So thank you everyone for listening me so patiently.
Thank you, contingent code P01. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Thank you to all the participants. Very informative speeches. We will now wait for 2-3 minutes so that the judges can collate their scores and come to a decision.
Okay, to the organizers, we are done with scoring. We've sent them to you.
Thank you, judges. The results will be announced in the closing ceremony. Starts at 6:15. Participants are requested to join to know the results.
Okay, can we have a few remarks for the participants since the ranking is done and you've given the scores?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sony?
Yes, Keshu, I think that'll be a good idea because we would like to give some comments.
Yeah, so maybe if the participants can put on their cameras.
Yes, Keshu.
Yeah, so, I thought just judging you in the second round, I thought all of you did really well. It was a short time you had to, get through getting it done. And the topics were, I think, very exciting. Though a bit of a suggestion when you're debating, the topic like genetic engineering escapes, or rather genetic should escape mainstream. So before you start debating, define what is mainstream. What is exactly mainstream? That every hospital should be able to do it, every R&D center should be able to do it, or should it only be the mandate of the select few? I mean, should there be a colonization of mainstream? Similarly, when you talk of unreasonable profiteering from farms, should be regulated. So you should define what is regulation. So for that matter, SEBI also regulates investors. SEBI also regulates stock market. So what constitutes regulation? So I mean, starting from the last topic first, when you say regulation, unreasonable profiteering should be regulated. So what should be the regulated? Should you allow them to spend X amount of money in profits and Y amount of money in R&D should necessarily go? Second, if you look at the, the IPR laws that are there that allow for compulsory licensing, I know some of you are from the science background, so you would be aware. In that case, is there already a regulation in place, wherein the pharma companies cannot profit? If I can sell, the alcohol industry is not regulated. People can charge what they want for alcohol. So why should pharma industry be regulated? Both in their own ways are necessities. And in the context, if the government wants regulation, can they go in for generic drugs? So these are the kind of few points I thought, you all could have brought into particularly mainstream. Also in genetic engineering, so it's great, but if you're going to have genetic engineering in mainstream, are we going to create a new form of racism? wherein there'll be, superior beings, and is anybody going to control what they do or how they do? Are we going to have bacteria that's going to start, or we have bacteria that's going to dissolve the oil spill? But what happens if bacterium gets into the resources of the world? Do we have to pasteurize oil? So I thought while you all were very, very good in data, you all lacked sarcasm. You all should have been hitting out, you should have punched a few holes and said, so are we going to pasteurize oil? What are you going to do with this one? So the kind of a little bit, it's nice when you're debating. You got 3, 4, 5 minutes to just speak. Nobody's stopping you. Go for it. Make sure that you, bring in the kind of pep. This is not a presentation; it's a debate. So when you go down the road, have fun. Yeah, guys. Thanks. Well done.
Yeah. Thanks, Keshu. Do you have time for me to give my inputs too?
Yes, Soni, you must. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
I mean, I'm asking the organizers. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks,
Yes,
Keshu.
yes,
So
ma'am.
So I guess Professor Daswani has very clearly mentioned the things that, I felt the same, that as he rightly mentioned, when you're given a topic, there are some anchor points in every statement, like as he mentioned, mainstream, unreasonable, regulation. So that Professor Daswani has very clearly mentioned. So another thing that probably I can highlight is, as a judge, when there are certain parameters, you may, there are things like, clarity of thought, arguments that you're going to put forward, the use of facts and examples, presentation style. So how are you going to actually show your passion for what you are saying? We should feel that you are convinced about speaking for it or against it. So that is really, really important in a debate. We should feel that you are convinced about it. So if you're convinced about it, then we'll get convinced about it. So if there are 4 different parameters on which you're being evaluated, you may score well on one and you may not score well on the other. That will bring your scores down, even if you feel that you were good on certain aspects. Another thing is, judges also will look at how difficult it is for you to defend it or speak for it or against it. So that shows your argumentative capacity and how you're able to articulate your points really well. So this is what I would like to say. I think all of you all have, in the limited time that you had and such challenging topics, it was really nice to hear all of you speak. And wishing you the very best. We have tried our best in judging, and Professor Daswani and me, in fact, were absolutely in sync with our scores. So I guess I think it's the right decision that we have taken. Thank you so much for inviting us for this event, and wishing you the very best. Thank you, Professor Keshu, in co-judging the event with me. It was really a pleasure. Thank you. Over to you, Mimamsa.
Thank you so much, ma'am, sir, for your valuable insights. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm honored to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the entire team of ZAC. I want to thank our judges, respected judges, Professor Soni George and Professor Kishore Daswani, for accepting our humble invitation and joining us today. Thank you so much for your time and support, and I have no words to offer gratitude for your valuable presence. I would also want to thank our head of department, Mr. Mazban Kotwal, and convener of ZAC, Dr. Ashma Agarwal, for supporting us at each step. A big thanks to Team ZAC who helped to run the event seamlessly. But most of all, thank you to our participants for being highly cooperative. And it is because of you we keep going. Thank you so very much.